So hello and welcome back to the Red Shutter Club. I am here today with Maia Rowan.
Hello.
My fellow American. How are you?
Yep. Good. How are you?
Dandy, man, dandy. So you're actually our second American guest of the season.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, and we just learned that the two American guests for this season are not only both from California, but from the same town.
Yeah, we like know the same venues.
Yeah.
It's really weird. I met him at Hemingway's like 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't even remember how that came up, but it was really weird.
Yeah.
What are the odds?
Well, I mean, Sush walks into a room and you go, "Oh yeah, that's not a Scouser." So
I feel like I've been told, someone was telling me last week that I'm like baseline American. Like I'm not like any one type of American. Like there's some people here that are like super American and I'm like not.
I feel that. I feel that. What are you doing here in Liverpool?
I'm here because I'm going to school here, but I'm gigging a lot, making a lot of stuff, making an album. Yeah.
Are you going to school for music?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Which college?
I'm at LIPA.
Oh, nice,
Yep.
nice. That makes sense. I think I first saw you at the Arts Bar, and that's like LIPA Central.
Yeah, it's weird how many LIPA people end up like working there, playing there, anything.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
it's because James is there, and then he just attracts the rest of the LIPA people.
He's the cult leader at LIPA.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. I love you, James.
I love him too. He produced my song "Big Yellow House."
Oh, did
which
he?
isn't like out yet, but yeah, it's great. I love him. He's the
Nice.
best.
Well, let's get into that then. Let's talk about some of the projects you got going on.
All right. Yeah, we got the band, we got the album. We're gonna be in the studio for that. In like 2 days as of right now. So that's pretty crazy.
Nice, man.
I've spent a quarter of the money on my bank account on those sessions.
Musicians.
So, yeah.
We love being musicians.
It's great. It's just scary because like I can't afford for this to not work.
I feel ya.
Yeah, but it'll be good.
We were kind of talking about the differences in the music scene here versus where you're from in California. And I know that I'm from upstate New York.
Mm-hmm.
The music scene there is very different. So maybe we could talk about some of the differences?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's easier to book stuff here. I feel like people are more open to people they don't know here.
Really?
Yeah. Which, I don't know. Maybe that's just me and my little scene. But it's like, you kind of have to know people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like here, I can just like DM a random person. I just like DM a bunch of random promoters and just get replies.
Interesting.
So eventually, sometimes it takes months. But
Yeah.
like that's how most of my gigs happen here.
Oh, fair enough. I know with a lot of people, the just plain DMing method doesn't always work. It seems like it's hit or miss.
Yeah, I don't know why that works. I think it's like you have to like bother them a bunch, but I feel like it's kind of a squeaky wheel gets the grease situation.
You have to be a nuisance.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is on record your advice, be a nuisance to promoters?
Yes, be a nuisance.
That tracks for this web show.
But literally, I've gotten like so many gigs. Like there's like a show we're doing in May that's like been like, I first DM'd that promoter probably May of last year.
Yeah.
And I now have a gig with them May of this year.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how it works. Even for this show, I was just talking to our last guest who was on, at least in the order of how we're interviewing these, David Neville King. He talked to me last June about coming on because he came to my launch, or no, it was last July, because he came to my launch event and asked if he could come on because I met him through April Moon, and we just now got him on. And it's March.
Yeah, when did I talk to you about it? I don't know. I talked to you like when Zara's thing.
So that would have been again at the start. It would have been like May of last year, and here we are in March. It's Liverpool's so oversaturated with musicians.
It is.
So it's just you get to get everybody on. It takes a while.
Yeah, but I feel like right now I'm like at a point where a lot of things that have been in the works for like ages are finally like starting to actually happen.
Yeah.
Like this and the studio sessions and that gig that I was telling you about, and we're doing a music video in a really cool place soon.
Nice.
And like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that a lot of music really is patience. Yeah.
Really. And it's hard to have. I feel like musicians tend to be like go, 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 and then like you can't always. It's kind of a thing I've had to learn this year. Is like, how much can I push myself before I like start to go crazy?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to be patient with yourself too and your brain, and you can't always do everything you want to do all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my ADHD urges me in the exact opposite direction.
Yeah, and then you like burn out and things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, is it an album that you have coming out?
I'm like working on it. It's written.
Okay. So tell us a bit about this album that you've written.
My mom has cancer, so it's all about that and like my own anxiety and stuff around that. And yeah. It's called Remote Avalanche Machine. It'll hopefully be out, or like at least singles will be out by the end of the year, because I told an A&R person they would be, and therefore they have to be. So
fair. That's a really deep topic. That's got to be just so emotional to work with.
It's a lot. It's really interesting because it's like catharsis for me, so that's nice, and then it's also like catharsis for people, so then people end up trying to like kind of use me as a therapist, which is like a really interesting thing to deal with that I'm still kind of figuring out. But it's also, it's like good because it's like people like the stuff, but it's like also
overwhelming.
Yeah. It adds to the overwhelm, but also kind of helps too, because it's like I'm not alone in it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Well, one, how many like people have parents with cancer.
Yeah.
Like I keep finding more and more people, and also how many of those people, like I saw the study that's like 27% of kids of people with cancer have like PTSD symptoms.
Wow.
Which is a lot, and there's like no resources for it, which is why I'm making this, because like there's no music about this.
Yeah.
At all. There's nothing.
Yeah. And as I was just talking about with my last guest here, it's music can reach people in a way that almost nothing else can.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's a very unique way, but it's such an important way to be able to reach people.
There's like only a couple artists that I felt like I really connected to in like the cancer sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, but they've helped so much.
Yeah.
I think my goal is honestly just to, because I try to be really like saying exactly what happened, I guess, because nobody talks about the reality of that. Like I have a song called Chemotherapy. It's about chemotherapy, and someone was telling me that no one ever talks about what it's like to watch that. And like, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's no one talks about it. There's not a lot of like really like accessible resources about it.
Yeah. Well, it's really an incredible thing that you're doing, and I think that it's something that I think not everyone could do. So how do you like kind of take care of yourself and check yourself and make sure you don't like, maybe it's not the right wording, but go to a dark place with it, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like I think in the writing process, I would like only write. I guess I kind of had a rule of like only do this if it's helping.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But I'm still kind of figuring out how to do that with like the fan interaction and show's perspective, because that's another layer that I'm now, because I'm playing the stuff live a lot now, that I'm now kind of trying to find and like figure out, I guess.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because I know one of our other guests was talking about creative well-being and being able to like tune into yourself. So you've learned how to do that with the writing, but not necessarily the more like the more outgoing socializing side of it.
Yeah, and I mean, creative well-being, I think it kind of, I don't know, you can't really force that, is I think what I've realized as well.
No.
It's like you can't make yourself write a good song.
Because I don't know many creatives that have a well-being to begin with. You know, we're all kind of nuts.
Yeah, I think we just have to. I think that's kind of part of. I don't know.
We have an okay being.
Yeah, yeah, we do.
How do you want people to react? Like, what is your ideal sort of interaction? Do you want to be the therapist?
I mean, I think I want people to like connect and see themselves in it and feel like they're not alone in it.
Yeah,
because it's really easy to feel like you're alone in something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and but like there's so many people, and I meet them like every show. Like, it's kind of crazy, honestly.
Yeah.
Like it's such a common thing that no one talks about.
Yeah. So when you're performing, you're often performing as your band, Maia Rowan and The Yellows.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about, how do you keep a band happy? How do you run a successful band?
I'm like still figuring it out, but I think a lot of it is like, so I think a lot of people when they're starting bands, they're like, oh, just get musicians that are good. But half of it is like getting people that if you're playing like 2 shows back to back and have been in the studio till 3 a.m., you won't go insane. Like that's half the battle, I think, is how to deal with that. And yeah, you know, like be friends and not just people that play shows together. Because if you're just people that play shows together,
It's not the same.
It's not.
Yeah, I know that when I first got a band together, I kind of had a deadline. So I just was looking for good musicians, and I wasn't taking into consideration, well, I know these people and we're friends, but it's different when you're spending that much time with somebody. You have to kind of be able to connect with them on a different level.
Like my bassist and I will like, we see each other so often now because of the band and because like we're working on a film score together right now. We're doing a bunch of other stuff together too.
Uh-huh.
And like we will not see each other for like 48 hours and we'll like be like, it's been a minute, and then we're like, it's been literally 2 days.
Yeah.
But we see each other like every day, so if we don't see each other for a day, it's like it feels like it's been a year or something.
We love codependency on our bandmates. I think another important part of, you know, band stuff is if you're at a level where you're doing a lot of original stuff, unless you're all collectively writing and you're all in it, finding people who can commit that much time and energy to something is wild.
It is wild. Like, yeah, I don't really do a lot of session stuff because I do prefer to like do the stuff that I write, and I kind of know that about myself, and so I've just kind of stuck to what I know that I can fully commit to, because I don't like to like to commit my time to things that I know that I'm not going to be fully 100% behind, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that.
Like it's like almost it feels like it's a disservice to the people who do care about the thing if I don't care about the thing as much as they do.
Well, it's great that you're honest and upfront about that, because I think that a lot of the music scene and a lot of it is people are very quick to say yes to things.
I've had to work on that, like how to say no to shows even.
Yeah.
And I'm still, it's like, it's a hard thing because it's like a lot of industry people, like I've literally gotten the advice of like, take everything you get.
Yeah.
Which is like, yes, but also like getting paid and like, not putting yourself in weird situations. There's all sorts of like nuance.
Not burning yourself out.
Yeah, that too.
I know that with my band, what I've started to do is when we have practice, we voted on the songs that we want to do because we're working on a cover set. Because my thing is I like all of us, we don't necessarily want to do original stuff. We just want to perform. That's all we want to do. We love playing our instruments, doing our thing, and performing. So we don't care if it's necessarily originals or covers. That's cool. I've started, like, when they come over, I cook them dinner. We vote. We have a democratic system of how we choose our songs. I got made fun of because I sent out a Google form for it. And but just trying to keep that communication open. And,
yeah, exactly. That's like the other half of being in a band is like actually talking through things. Because we've also had times with the band where like things have happened just because people aren't communicating how they're feeling or whatever. And it's like...
Because Scousers are the most open people in the world.
But it's not even just the Scousers. It's just in general. I think people don't... Because a band is a weird line between like a friend thing and a work thing, I guess. And like... people don't really know how best to communicate within that dynamic, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's something like you have to check in with people.
Yeah.
And talk through things. And yeah.
I know I've had many conversations with my bandmates of, I'm not from here. I'm already bad at social situations. If I'm doing something weird, I need you to tell me as bluntly as possible.
Yeah, okay. I just there was a TikTok I posted recently that I had to delete because I accidentally talked about something that I didn't realize that people would have such strong opinions about because I'm not from here. I had no. It's
like when I was playing Cards Against Humanity with my classmates in undergrad, and I accidentally played a throwaway card that was the Hillsborough disaster, and I didn't know what it was.
Oh no!
And it was the Scouser's turn to vote, and he wouldn't talk to me for a couple days.
Oh no! That's so bad. I know what you mean, but that's so. I've had plenty of even like at shows. I've had literal things that have messed with shows because I didn't know what someone was saying or something. Or there was this one time this. Also, the accent thing is funny because we don't understand them.
No.
But they don't understand us either. There was what I had to call Sainsbury's or something. I'm now afraid of calling any British business because of this. And the guy answered the phone and was like, I have no idea what you're saying, and had to give me to a manager or something. Yeah. And I just now every time
what
I call,
are you on about? What? Gail, I don't know what you're saying.
Literally. And now every time I call a British business, I kind of embrace myself for the scousness.
It is an experience.
It is an experience. It's such a, I think this is a part of the UK that Americans don't think about when they think of the UK.
No, I showed up here and was so confused.
Me too.
Because I was
what am I doing?
Did we get off the, did we accidentally fly to Scotland?
Yeah, exactly.
This is not an accent that Americans
and
have heard.
are you planning on staying here permanently or?
My grandma watches this, man. I can't say that out loud.
Yeah.
I'm here for a while. For a while. An undetermined amount of time.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. The other interesting thing about being an American here is what happens when people do stay here for a long time and then you become the American Scouse hybrid, which is always such an interesting thing. You know what I mean?
Characters.
Yeah. It's such a, there's nothing else like the American in Liverpool for 10 years. It's it's so cool, but it's also it's almost,
they're their own breed.
It's an uncanny valley thing. It's it's
oh my God. I have never heard someone describe it as that, but that is the most accurate description.
Yeah, I came up with that the other day, and I'm that is exactly what it is, because it's American, but also the other one is I know some people here that have are from here but have toured in the US a lot, and it's the same thing. It's you are Scouse, but you give me American vibes.
Yeah.
You're not. It's what is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, uncanny valley.
Yeah. I think final question, maybe tell me about some of your musical influences.
I guess, okay. Anytime anybody asks me about musical influences, I forget all of them. But I love, this isn't really an influence necessarily, but I'm obsessed with Bleachers.
Yeah.
And
is this the one you saw last night?
Yeah, the one I saw last night in Manchester. I love them. They're the best. And I think they influence me in just that they talk about stuff that a lot of people don't talk about, and I think that is great. And influences what I do. And then I guess sonically, Ben Folds, Regina Spektor. Yeah, I guess. And then that's most of them, I would say. Cool. And I'm also I've been obsessed with pop punk stuff for years. We cover Basket Case. I love it. We don't really sound like that, but
we do we do Brain Stew, but we do a blues version of Brain Stew.
Oh my God, I did Brain Stew in the first band I was ever in when I was 12.
Yes.
There are videos of it on the internet if you know where to look. Don't, but they exist.
We'll link them below. No. I'm kidding.
I will die of embarrassment.
Well, I think with that we should head off to our couch concert.
The song's called Big Yellow House, And it's about my anxiety as a kid, because I didn't realize I had anxiety until a couple years ago, but I've had it for basically the entire time I've been alive. And this is just about growing up with that, and it's the first song on the album. Dad said your heart won't stop like the cat's heart stopped, but I still won't use the towel that he died on. Falling asleep on a pull-out couch and listening to frogs. It was a summer heat wave, we swam all day, then dried off in the yard, and the sky was so blue. And the sky was so blue. And I'm just a person who lives in a big yellow house up on Fern Street. I'm trying to figure it out. I like mysteries, but I wanna know how it ends. I was scared to sleep by hotel windows and swim in indoor pools, but I wrote a letter to Obama saying I wanna be like you. I'd stay awake till I was too tired to be scared I'd die in my sleep. 'Cause who am I to put my trust in an electric meat machine when it makes me blue? It makes me blue. And I'm just a person who lives in a big yellow house up on Fern Street. I'm trying to figure it out. I like mysteries, but I wanna know how it ends. I'm just a person who lives in a big yellow house up on Fern Street, and sometimes I freak myself out, and you tell me it'll all be okay in the end. We drove up to Julie's a couple months before she died, and I would have asked her a million questions if she hadn't been eaten alive. Instead, I just went to her funeral, second funeral of my life, and I really don't want to have to do that another time, 'cause I'd get so blue. I'd get so blue. And I'm just a person who lives in a big yellow house up on Fern Street, trying to figure it out. I like mysteries, but I wanna know how it ends. I'm just a person who lives in a big yellow house up on Fern Street, and sometimes I freak myself out, and you tell me it'll all be okay in the end. I'm picking at the carpet. You're sitting in your chair. The possibility of cancer. Dad says life isn't fair.
That was lovely.
It was great talking to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Is there anything you want to plug before we get going?
Probably just a bunch of shows. I'll list them
Down below.
There's a bunch of them that aren't actually fully booked yet, so I can't talk about them, but will probably happen.
Yeah, that's confidential. That's classified. But it won't be classified by the time this comes out, so check below. Maybe if I'm talented enough in editing, I can have them floating around.
Also, my SoundCloud, I'm putting a bunch of demos up there, so check that out if you want to get a sneak peek of the album that you aren't supposed to know about yet.
Link also in the description. So thank you again for joining us, and thank you so much for tuning in.
And I'm just a person who lives in a big yellow house up on Fern Street. I'm trying